Welcome to the ranking and distribution page. The district can choose to set up the school chart by poverty ranking or grade span ranking. The system is defaulted to rank schools by poverty ranking. If you know that your district uses grade span ranking, you may click the button at the bottom of the page to change to ranking by grade span, and I'll discuss ranking by grade span a little later. The first column, SAU schools. This list auto-populates from the schools listed in the site setup. If the schools or school names are not current, please contact your ESEA Regional Program Manager. The grade span. Ensure that the current grade span of each school is accurate. This column always allows for manual entry and update. The next column, school enrollment. Choose a point in time from the previous school year for the school's enrollment. The same point in time must be used for all schools. School level number of low-income students. Choose the same enrollment point in time for the number of low-income students. The same point in time must be used for all schools. The next column, school level poverty percentage. This column will auto-calculate once the Post Update button is clicked. Low-income data. Choose the correct identifier for the low-income poverty data used. It appears that all data by districts refer to the following. Your choices are free lunch eligible students for your low-income data, or you can use free and reduced lunch eligible students. You can use the Community Eligibility Program student counts, or better known as CEP, or you can use the CEP plus the CEP multiplier count. The free counts and the CEP counts relatively align to each other, and the free and reduced and the CEP plus multiplier counts align. All CEP and non-CEP schools must use the data sets that create alignment. If all schools are CEP schools, you may choose to use CEP counts or CEP plus multiplier counts. If you have further questions regarding CEP, you may contact your local food service coordinator. There is also a USED non-regulatory guidance document outlining CEP and Title I connections at www.ed.gov/programs/Title I Part A /15-0011.doc. For the CEP data, just because you're eligible or able to feed 100% of your students, you would not use the 100% data. It is using the actual CEP or CEP multiplier data. If your CEP multiplier equates to 100%, then you may use that. The eligibility column. There are rules for schools being eligible to receive Title I funding. The first rule says, well, your choices for eligibility are yes, no, or grandfathered. So a school is eligible. So for an SAU with less than 1,000 students, all schools are eligible. In this instance, for this district, there's 1,084 students. Therefore, we can't use this eligibility rule. The next rule says a school district with more than 1,000 students and only one building at each grade level, all schools once again would be eligible. In this example, we have multiple schools in multiple grade spans. Therefore, this this requirement is not used by this district. So then we have to look at all schools with a poverty greater than 35%. So since we're more than 1,000 students and more than one building at each grade level, we would then select all schools that are greater than 35% as eligible to receive Title I funds. This is regardless of whether they receive Title I funds or not, but they would be eligible. So in Pine Mountain Elementary School, it's 34.4%. So at this point, that this school does not meet the 35%, so we're going to leave it blank for a little bit and look at our next requirement. We could also declare eligible any school that has a poverty greater than the district average. In this district, the average on the bottom row is 49.1%. Therefore, these schools are still below the district poverty average. So then the final eligibility provision says that a school that was served with Title I funds in the previous year and falls below the 35% or below the district average poverty percentage may be served for one additional year. Well, we know as a district that Pine Mount Elementary School was served previously. So we're going to use for this year this grandfather provision for Pine Mount Elementary School. In Pine Valley High School was not served in the previous year. They're at 32.6%. They're below the district average, below the 35%. Therefore, this school is not eligible to receive Title I funding. I just posted and updated so that those eligibility identifiers can be saved. The school level funding column, this column is auto-populated from the amount of Title I funding on the school level project page. If a school level amount in this column requires a change, you must amend the school level title project page budget line. The school level funding for each school must be the amount that is needed to pay for the Title I staff and its program at the Title I school. Finally, the total amount in this column on the bottom row, down here, which is $85,938, should match the amount dedicated to schools in the upper right-hand chart called Determination of Title I Funds, which is right here. If the amounts do not match, as in this instance or situation, they do not, because we see the red error message at the bottom of the page, you will need to adjust a school or district level project budget amount for Title I on the project pages. The difference is $3,000, so I will go to the Pine Island Primary School project page and increase the Title I budget line. Instead of $20,000 in salaries and benefits, I will make it $23,000. Post and update. The total amount adjusts. Return to the menu and go back to my ranking of schools and distribution of funds page. We notice that the two amounts match and that our red error message is gone. The last column, column 8, school level per pupil amount, is auto-calculated by dividing the school level funds by the school level number of low-income students. This per pupil amount is used to evaluate if the distribution of funds rules have been met, and we will review those rules in the next segment. This concludes the first segment of the guidance material on the Title I ranking and distribution page as it relates to the columns of information to be completed. The next segment will be focused on applying the ranking and distribution rules and reviewing the difference between poverty ranking and grade span ranking.